We like took a chance and we were like, if it doesn't work out, we'll figure it out. But like, let's go for it. And
well, there's always this joke when you finish a shoot. Like, God, let's do it for real now.
Yeah. It was a good dry run. Yeah. I think we're ready for the real thing.
All right, Chris and Brittany, thank you for being guests on the Suncrest Podcast.
Excited to be here.
I'm meeting you for the first time, Chris. I've known you for 7 years, Brittany, both of you. So full transparency, I know these guys. Who is Chris and Brittany for someone who's just meeting you?
Oh, do you want to start with that or you want me to?
you can start.
All right, cool. So,
Good deflection there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well played. So we moved to Suncrest, as you alluded to, about 7 years ago, 2018 in January, actually. So a few years ahead of the pandemic. Very thankful to be in Utah for the pandemic. But we both came from New Jersey. So Brittany and I grew up in New Jersey. I grew up in Bergen County, New Jersey, which is like kind of a small county in the northeastern corner, about 10 miles or so from Manhattan. And Brittany, more credence to the Garden State, grew up in Burlington County, southern New Jersey, on a farm, actually. So,
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. On a farm?
Crop farm.
Okay, we need to dig
Some
into
animals, but mostly crops.
Yeah, we'll get into it, absolutely. It's a very interesting subject to deep dive with Brittany on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we met each other in 2013 now, when we were both working, I was working in Manhattan at the time, I think, or maybe in Jersey City, and you were living in Jersey City. Yep. And our Tinder circles, we had a perfect Venn diagram where they united, and we were able to meet each other. I'd actually been on the app only probably for like 2 weeks at that point. So we are one of those rare Tinder
I think
success
I was
stories.
only on for like a couple months.
Really?
So,
Yeah. So we went on a first date, and things worked out obviously pretty well. And after a few years, found our way out to Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys had like this kind of like two separate lives for a bit there, but you're from the same place.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you didn't meet prior, or you met in New Jersey? You met in New Jersey?
No, coincidentally, we had a mutual friend, actually, someone that Brittany knew in college, and married one of my really close high school friends.
Yeah.
So that was probably the easiest Tinder connection, was he happened to be in one of the photos with me that I had posted on there.
Well, actually, Tinder connected with Facebook, so it would tell you if you had mutual friends. So this one person came up as our mutual friend. So of course, naturally, we both reached out to that person and said, I was like, hey, I'm going on a date with Chris Neumann. What do you know about him? And like Chris did the same about me.
Really? So you both asked the same person, they both sold you.
Because we only had this one
essentially,
mutual.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's a great salesman.
Still a very good close friend
Yes.
to the day. We still keep in touch with them and visit them on a regular basis in New Jersey.
That's awesome. That's a great story. So you've told it many times, but I think the big picture here is that you guys had a lot of similar interests that made sense for that person selling you both to each other. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the app. It was that the app was a coincidence. It was more that there was a perfect triangle of communication.
It's
there.
it's a small world.
Yeah.
Because the person was, someone I knew from college from like Pennsylvania. Yes, we're all tri-state's very tight, but like heavily populated. So just like a small world kind of story,
And like, is it? So how long ago is that now? How many years back was that now? It was 20.
So that was 2013, so 13 years ago. Mm-hmm. And things clicked pretty quickly, and we kind of knew we wanted to, take next steps together. Yeah. But we also kind of wanted to make sure that we were getting settled. And the timing never quite worked for us to actually get engaged until we moved out here, and we got engaged in 2018.
Yeah.
And we finally got out here and got settled. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, we weren't in a rush either.
I know my in-laws might have been excited to see what was going on in terms of that as Brittany quit her job and relocated 2,000 miles west with us. But,
was that kind of wild though? Because like kind of like going back to the farm thing, like there is a small town thing. Were you in a small town as well?
I was in a small town. It was 1 square mile, but it was a little bit more of like a traditional suburb, like you would expect. Houses super close to one another. I mean, we had 15,000 people in a 1 square mile town. Like 1,000 kids in my graduating class. Yeah. So it was much tighter. Whereas with Brittany's, it was a dramatically different environment. Only 60 miles away though.
Yeah, Jersey's a very diverse state. You drive 5 minutes, you're in a different world.
Doesn't have the best reputation.
I've never really been over there, so it's kind of.
Yeah.
I lived in the South as a kid in Oklahoma, but never really in that area of the country up there. It's so
lots of
foreign to me.
diversity. Yeah. So because people always think it's ridiculous that there is such a battle between like, oh, I'm from North Jersey, oh, I'm from South. Like there is a major difference, and now there's even a fight about being from Central Jersey is different.
I think it's only happening there because I've never heard it.
Yeah. So like people who are aware are like, they understand like being from North Jersey and South Jersey are very different things.
Really?
Yes.
See, that to me, it's all just Jersey.
It's Giants fans versus Eagles fans. It's,
okay.
South Jersey gets a very Philadelphia influence.
Wait, so is there some diversion there with the teams you guys like then because of the distance, or is it?
There is. I mean, Brittany's most allegiant to her Dallas Cowboys, and I'm a New York Giants fan, so her dad was a Cowboys fan. But most people near where Brittany grew up are Philadelphia Eagles fans.
So there could be times where you guys are a little bit
absolutely all divisional rivals. We actually went to Dallas. What was it, like 2 years ago on Thanksgiving for the Dallas Giants game, the Dallas New York game, which was really cool.
That's amazing. So like, moving out here together though was a huge commitment, and not just your work though, but in your relationship. I mean, it was everything in one. You're kind of just fully sending it, and you guys tend to do things like really big. Like you guys are always doing the coolest stuff. I mean, if you don't know Chris and Brittany, they're always doing the coolest stuff. I'm always envious of what you guys are doing. I think like, look at these guys doing cool stuff. But at that point, that was a big thing for you guys.
It was a really big move.
We were taking a chance. Neither of us had spent any time in Utah at all.
Yeah.
Zero.
Except for like laying over at the airport. So I have family up in northern Idaho, so I grew up coming out west. Chris would come out west a lot to visit friends, ski trips and things. Yeah. So we love the West. Yeah. We even started coming out on ski trips together when we were first dating. So we knew like this was a lifestyle we were definitely interested in, and so we like took a chance, and we were like, if it doesn't work out, we'll figure it out, but like let's go for it. And we love it. We've been in this house since we moved out here, and it's coming up on 9 years, so it's crazy.
So here's the deep question for like Suncrest. You're in Suncrest. I mean, this is a niche area already, right? It's a niche and a niche. You didn't have any awareness of Suncrest before coming out, or did you know about it before coming out?
We knew a little bit about it just from research and knowing that Draper was a really cool town to potentially find a home in. Yeah. When we first started looking, we really were searching in the Sandy and Cottonwood Heights areas, thinking that we wanted to be as close to Little or Big Cottonwood Canyon as we can, make it as convenient to the ski resorts as possible, which made a ton of sense for what we were looking for in life. My office is also in Cottonwood Heights. For the first time in my life, selfishly, I was like, I don't want to have a 90-minute commute. I'd love to just be able to get to work in like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. Even from here, it's 20, 25 minutes usually for the times I'm commuting. What we were looking for, though, and specific to Suncrest, was a community that kind of felt like what we envisioned Utah being in terms of kind of a mountain environment, a little bit more rugged, a little bit more rustic, but we didn't want to lose access to everything. Exactly, and Suncrest brought all of those things kind of together for us, feeling like we're living the mountain life, still having the access to everything that we'd like to, just really convenient. And it was Brittany that kind of found this community because the criteria we gave to our realtor just wouldn't have actually hit Suncrest on the map. It wasn't quite close enough to what we were originally thinking of.
Because you were thinking like the valley floor, close to access to everything, getting in and out efficiently.
Yeah.
Not really about climbing a mountain in the winter.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and we didn't know anything about Utah, obviously, and the valley and this area, except for what we were like researching online. Yeah. And so in the beginning of the research, I kept just Googling like best neighborhoods to live in the Salt Lake Valley, and like Draper just kept coming up every time.
Yeah, yeah.
But like Chris mentioned, we started in that Cottonwood Heights area to be closer to work proximity and things. But yeah, a lot of the homes, they just weren't hitting. They needed a lot of work, or it felt like, okay, I just took this home and pasted it in from Jersey to Utah. Like we wanted that mountain feel.
Yeah.
Out here, like moving all the way to the West Coast, we wanted to feel like we were like in the mountains and like in a mountain home.
Yeah.
So.
And we didn't want to do Parleys every day and potentially look farther kind of up I-80 East. So it was just a matter of where to find that community. And when we came back, we probably looked at 3 or 4 homes. We did 3 house hunting visits.
We looked at over 40
and looked at like 40 homes across those visits, but we didn't really hit the Suncrest.
They were flying off the market even in 2018.
Yeah.
I guess the market was kind of hitting a peak there because we bought ours in 2019 and it was like, stuff was just flying off the market.
It was flying, and you had to do, like cash offer. Like it was flying.
Wow.
Yeah, we made one offer kind of in the Old Mill area actually, and just blessing in disguise, it actually fell through. We got outbid in like a little bit of a bidding war, and we were like, yeah, we don't feel comfortable going north of this number, and it would have been a home that needed a tremendous amount of work as well. It was really pretty and everything, but at the same time, we were like, when we found this, it all seemed very fortuitous in terms of that didn't work out, and this is going to be the perfect home for us.
So when I met you guys for the first time, I was like, these guys are Utah natives. Like, they're from Utah. Like, they just got a vibe to them.
Chameleons.
Utah.
Yeah,
but you're not, which is so wild to me. But you guys have it's like such a home for you. And you make people around feel at home, too. I'm your neighbor. I'm just across the street. But they're the best neighbors, by the way. I mean, he's not paying me to say this, I don't think, right? But the thing is like, you guys have really made this your home. Like, it seems like this has been a place you've planted your feet down, you put roots down. You have a lot of friends. I mean, we're talking about these couches you built. Yeah. And you had people in the neighborhood help build them.
Absolutely,
and it was Peter.
Yeah, Peter. Thanks to Peter Drubin for helping me prepare all the wood that built these couches that we're enjoying doing this podcast on.
Blue Sky Home Loans, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blue Sky Home Loans.
Yeah.
Is that still cool? I don't think so.
Oh no, absolutely. That's really cool.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I liked it. I like it.
Yeah, it was ironic to do it, but so now like looking for, and you're meeting each other. You're moving here. There was like a period before moving where you're like figuring out like your work is already okay. You moving here and everything. So, and your work, was it the same, or were you in a different position there?
No, so this was pre-COVID, so remote working was not a thing.
It's craziness, yeah.
I had actually put like a plan together at my job in my resignation letter offering to work from here. We had a New York City office as well as an LA office. So in that resignation, I, put together a plan that I would travel out of my own pocket. I will go to the LA office as needed, New York office as needed, but they didn't go for that. And so I formally had to resign and then look for something here.
Wow. Was that stressful? I mean, like you're leaving a job you're comfortable doing.
It was.
Moving to a different place. I mean, you were probably all over the place, at the time. Maybe you weren't. I don't know.
It was. It was a big change for me because I worked in Manhattan garment industry for like 10 years.
Really?
So it's a change of
so
industry
coming
too.
To Utah, there's not a lot of jobs I was in buying and brick and mortar retail. There's not that much here. It's very limited. I mean, you have Sundance, Catalog, you have Backcountry, you had Overstock.com. So it was tough to find a job. It took a little while. Mm-hmm. But I did land a role out here in e-commerce, which was new and exciting for me. So I was really excited about it once I finally landed it. But like it did feel for me personally like a little bit of a career setback, especially going from a Manhattan salary to a Utah salary.
You were in a Manhattan situation with that.
Yes.
And then,
changes things a little, yeah.
That must have been like an ice bath, going from a sauna to an ice bath. It's still fun, but it's not that great.
So that
analogy,
but it was a sacrifice that I made to support Chris in his career growth, but also a sacrifice for lifestyle change. We wanted to be here, so it was tough for me a little bit, but I've moved on and grown in my career and kind of gotten over that, but
clearly,
it was tough for the first few years for me personally, just in my career.
Yeah, and that probably shaped some, you're a little probably adjusting still in that time, I'm guessing, just getting...
Yeah, adjusting to the lifestyle. Yeah.
They can be in the
Jackson, adjusting to the lifestyle change, but most of it being super positive. Especially, so I got a role at Overstock.com. That's where I started and met a lot of really, really great people. And the work-life balance here has been fabulous. And
that's dramatically different as well.
Dramatically different than Manhattan, I'm sure.
100%. 100%.
I mean, it's like the movies where it's just like people walking down sidewalks like crazy.
Absolutely. Just head down as quickly as you can kind of move. And I mean, the biggest way that I'd kind of describe it is essentially living to work in a lot of cases versus working to live, which was a culture that we really appreciated when we moved here. Not cutting corners, but just being passionate that it's a means to enable what you want to do with your friends and family and with your lifestyle.
It's more of a hustle. Growing up in Jersey, Manhattan, I would say.
And you pride yourself on that.
Were you aware of that hustle? Could you feel it, or did you not? Were you not aware of it till you moved away from it?
Oh, wasn't aware until I moved away.
Really? I could feel it. Yeah, I could feel it when, I guess, in terms of some of our friends' parents, they were doing this for, the commute into Manhattan for 30, 40 years until they retired. And after only doing it for about 10, thinking about being 25% through that journey potentially just sounded exhausting. And it was something that, again, we started to come out west a little bit more together. Our first trip together actually was to Jackson Hole in 2013 for New Year's to do
That's
a ski
great trip.
It was awesome. It was absolutely amazing.
You guys have great taste, by the way. I just want to call that out. Great taste.
we tried. Yeah, so it was an absolute blast of a trip, and I think it's just started us on this mission of, man, if there's ever a way to live someplace out in the mountains, but maintain an element of what we've done in New York and kind of our professional drive that we've developed here and everything, that would be the best of both worlds. I think we always talked about or expected it to be Denver as a major metro hub versus.
That's always the knee-jerk reaction is Denver.
Yeah.
And I'm curious why. Like for your perspective, why Denver? I mean,
it was where we were most familiar. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. We had friends that were in Summit
My brother
County,
lived there.
Eagle County.
Yes,
Brittany's father lived there.
North of the city,
Fort Collins.
So I had we had a lot of experience traveling to Colorado in general.
It was familiar then.
Exactly.
That's all. We just weren't familiar with Utah.
Because you look at Denver and you look at Suncrest as a compare and contrast, and it's like different worlds again.
Oh, totally.
It's like hours
if we moved to Colorado, we wouldn't be as happy for sure.
No, I mean, you think of Denver as a ski community, but in actuality, you're a couple hours from the closest ski resort, and that's on a weekday.
It's like a mini Manhattan in some regards because you're commuting out to things still.
Totally. So when we had the opportunity for Salt Lake, we kind of signed up for it sight unseen and took our first trip out here. I took my first trip to see the work site, and then also started to look at houses and what we've shared with people who have asked, and I guess in terms of context of the question, it's just been phenomenal to find some place where you can live and do all of the things that you at one point went on vacation to do. Yeah. And ultimately, when you go on vacation, whenever we get on the plane back, it's always nice to remind ourselves that we're flying back home to some place where people do invest themselves to go on vacation purposely.
Exactly.
And that's very cool.
And it's kind of fascinating because you were in a headspace that was work to live in New York, but that's also a vacation destination for people who see it as a foreign place. Someone from Utah going there. Yeah. There's almost like this Venn diagram where you couldn't appreciate it there as much as you could being away from it.
Yeah.
So do you ever go back now and it feels like vacation, or does it still feel like work when you walk back into the city?
It's a great question.
No, it feels like vacation.
Yeah.
I would say especially our most recent trips. We had friends get married in the city. In Lower Manhattan, in the Wall Street area, which was really fun to just be there for fun. Yeah,
Was the first time you were there for fun, really? Was that moment? Or
in a while, for sure, but...
I mean, growing up in Jersey, you would take day trips, overnight trips to Manhattan for fun. Because and same with Philadelphia, you would go for a day trip. There's a lot to do and see, and so you kind of grow up going to the city for fun and shows and enjoyment or whatever.
But we were also considered part of that bridge and tunnel crowd, as you often hear about.
I don't know what this is. What is this?
It essentially just means that you don't live on the island of Manhattan. You live in Long Island, in Southern Connecticut, in New Jersey. Yeah, someplace else where you have to cross a bridge, go through a tunnel to somehow get yourself into the city.
Come out Ninja Turtle type thing.
Exactly. Yeah, and it loses a lot of its luster kind of in that space, essentially, because you don't have the convenience of just jumping on a subway below your building and going uptown in 10 minutes. You have to get into the city, then navigate it, then trek back out essentially once you're kind of done with the city. So I'd say it has regained a little bit of that really cool energy and glow because
Yeah.
a lot of the work trips I've had now, we're staying downtown. When we went for our
cool.
friend's wedding, we stayed on Wall Street. So we've like had some cool opportunities to stay and really experience the city without the hassle of how are we going to get ourselves back to our house in New Jersey after.
So it
all
does
this.
feel more like an experience worth having, not a grind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
that's just
because
curious.
I feel like at this point,
Yeah.
like there's parts we miss and we look forward to enjoying. I mean, home is home. I feel like most people.
It's where your DNA's from, right?
Yeah,
there,
it's in your
right?
blood. It's people
Yeah.
miss where they grow up. They want to go back and visit. So it is fun going back. I would say, obviously, the biggest piece we miss is probably the ocean because now we're landlocked, and we
ocean.
both grew up, frequenting the Jersey Shore. So
Okay.
that is like a big piece of us that I think we really miss the most.
See, and I didn't really realize you guys were ocean people. Like being like this is a whole thing. It's a whole lifestyle around
Yes.
ocean. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a bit of a culture, and New Jersey does have a pretty solid culture there outside of the that everybody kind of knows surrounding fun MTV shows around
Just
it. So-
Seinfeld, I thought. It's just Seinfeld there. isn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly. Yeah.
That's the whole culture, right?
Yeah, no, but everybody like grows up in that area, going to a specific shore point, and like they all have kind of their own attractions in terms of boardwalks with Ferris wheels and stuff like that. Or some towns are a little bit sleepier, but have beautiful beaches that don't have as many people, and everybody kind of grew up with that, I guess, sentiment getting built of like, this is my spot, this is my summer area. And then we got to share in that together when we met and rent a house every year down the shore that we would go to and spend a week, invite friends down and everything for that. So it's been tough not having that same type of opportunity.
Yeah.
But here you're only a couple hours away from flying to the West Coast and still a few hours from getting back to the East Coast.
And what's fascinating about that whole culture you described is it's a very old world. It's very European, like the whole world of living, because it was European settling that area.
Yeah.
So you look at like how the lifestyle is. It's been evolving over years, but it's American in the truest American sense because it's the closest to Europe.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
And when you get out the West, it's kind of like this. We made it up as we went along.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh,
Still
totally.
making it up.
Yeah.
We're making up snowboarding. We're making up
Figure things
sports.
out. Yeah, it's all
Making
working
a
out
podcast.
now. Yeah, 100%.
So you guys seem to be very fast learners. And that's something I think is really interesting is like you're able to jump in and learn something quickly, but you both are that way. Like you kind of reinvented your career in a sense. No one does that. I mean, people just kind of chug along. It's very rare to see. And then to move states, big deal. It's a big deal, especially when you're like fully grown adults, making decisions like that. So I really respect that. But something I want to call out from, I think, your core DNA is there's stuff that you brought to Utah that enriches Utah, that make it better. So I think being from here now, being part of Suncrest and being in the community, you've made this community better. Like there's a lot of like cultural elements you're adding to Suncrest. And I think like one of them is like you tend to bring people together experientially. You seem to have, like in your work, you seem to do a good job of bringing people together from what I've seen and heard. And then you as well, Chris, you're good at speaking. You do some speaking with your work and whatnot. But one thing I'll call out with Chris is he has a strong affinity for comedy, which I was like, that's definitely something from Jersey. So did you discover that there and bring it here? Like, where did you get your affinity towards that?
Well, it's really a good question. I mean, I don't know that I'd say I discovered something necessarily there. It probably started with watching a lot of movies with friends as kids that just like struck a certain type of chord in terms of bringing some humor and just that. I guess where I grew up, it was always a dry and sarcastic sense of humor. On my mother's side, it was an Italian household.
That's what I was curious about.
Everybody liked to kind of rib one another. It was what was expected. I was the youngest of many cousins, so that was just something that you expected whenever you're spending a lot of time with family and everything. So I guess to your point, it probably is more ingrained in my DNA than I really give it credit for.
Okay.
And a lot of that does come back very quickly when I get together with like my high school friends and grade school friends, all of whom I still keep in close touch with, which is very cool. But it turns into, a bit of a rib sesh for everybody.
Yeah. Is it a shared passion amongst both of you? You both?
I feel like growing up on the East Coast, like it's very sarcastic. Like you
Very
grow
dry,
up
right?
with a lot of sarcasm because when I first started working here, that was my approach to meet people, to get in with people, establish a relationship is, cracking a little sarcasm. That was the way that we connected on the East Coast with each other.
Interesting.
And when I moved out here, I was doing that at work, appropriately,
Professionally,
and
I wasn't being mean. It was just how I am.
I actually got a little talking to by my boss about how I needed to like chill with my approach. Like people found me to be a little aggressive. Like they weren't vibing with me.
Really?
And it was the first time I've ever dealt with that in my career. And I was like, oh, okay, this is very different here. Like,
Really?
yeah, I had to like adjust a little bit.
And that was the Utah culture specifically speaking to you in that sense.
Yes.
Which is very, admittedly, very different than Jersey.
Dramatically different, but with so many additional pros that like we didn't really know coming in, just how nice everybody is here, how welcoming everybody is, how engaging they are. And that was something we kind of had to acclimate to. We had our guard up at first when we moved here, and we were like, why is everybody talking to us randomly in grocery stores and stuff? Like, what are these people want?
Why is everyone so nice?
What do they want with me?
Exactly. And eventually we just kind of realized that that's the way people are. It was interesting because where we grew up, I would say it was challenging at times to make new friends. You solidified your circle of friends, grade school, high school, college friends. You might have a couple different circles, and then that was kind of it. Every now and then someone new might kind of fall into the fold, but it was because they had a pre-existing relationship with someone else.
Right.
Here, it was amazing to me how many new people I met that we didn't have any other type of relationship tie-in that were interested in starting a new friendship. And
just
that
out
was,
of thin air.
Yeah, it was a very cool and very welcoming experience for two people who otherwise didn't really know anybody out here when we first moved out.
And I'm guessing you're still friends with those people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, totally.
Or else we're enemies, but
Yes. There was I'm grateful for where I worked because I did meet a lot of great people and made some great friends.
Yeah, and also starting your career up as well, learning how to do that at the same time must have been just... But also, like, it's so impressive that you're able to jump in, learn the culture at the same time as your work. I mean, learning Utah culture, I'm not from Utah either, but I moved here when I was 17, so it was a little bit easier to kind of acclimate. But, man, it's like jumping in an ice bath once again. It's a very different experience.
Well, and
but heavily, to embrace it,
in a place that's heavily influenced by religion, where... In growing up in Jersey, New York, it's more diverse. There's not such that heavy influence of one specific religion, right? So that was something learned too, because I personally did not know really anything about Mormonism. I didn't grow up with anyone who's LDS. Like I learned all that when I moved here.
It's a foreign language functionally. It's a foreign culture too. I mean, not even the U.S. itself is aware of what Utah is if they don't live here. You know? And there's shows out now that kind of convey Mormonism from like a funhouse mirror perspective.
Oh, totally.
Like Mormon Wives or something, but it's not even truly what you experienced moving here. You know,
no, not at all. I mean, but speaking of which, there's parallels to that to the New Jersey culture in terms of shows like Jersey Shore, like The Real Housewives of New Jersey, which is like where they, that started. That was like kind of in the neighborhoods that I grew up in. So we've been typecasted a long time coming from New Jersey for sure. Yeah.
I feel like I didn't really know what to expect with Jersey because I wasn't brushing up with it very much. Yeah. But there's a lot of people from that area in Suncrest, which I find really fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a reason, or is it just everybody's kind of agreed upon the same space to be away from the city?
I think that because Jersey is the most densely populated state, you're going to run into Jersey people all over the world.
It's just there's so many of us.
I run into Jersey people everywhere.
And do you guys connect? You're like, we're together here.
Absolutely. I mean, you can connect. When I see a New Jersey license plate, I get very excited. Oddly excited on the freeway if I see it.
You drive past them, you try to make them honk the car. Is that what they do in Jersey? I don't know.
No, but it's also a small world. I think when we first moved out here, I ran into somebody at a bar that grew up at a town next to me, went to the neighboring high school. Like, it's just... Yeah, there's Jersey people everywhere you go.
And you always play like the 3 degrees of separation game of, do you know so-and-so? And,
yeah.
So if I know you guys, I know most of Jersey is what it sounds like.
Pretty
so
much.
1 degree away from
exactly.
Seinfeld,
Yeah, exactly.
Or Jersey Shore, whatever. You take your pick.
Exactly.
So I want to circle back then so we kind of know where you're at here today, but there's a big element of, I think, growing up in a small town that's huge. That's shaped how you perceive where you choose to live and what you choose to do, what you spend your time doing. You mentioned the beach, that's a big part, and I think you guys have found a way to get to beaches at some point, past not being at the beach.
Yeah.
But growing up on a farm, I mean, that's a whole thing, right?
Yeah, it's normal where I grew up.
Yeah.
But out here, it's becoming rare, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
even out here, I'm like witnessing the growth of Utah is kind of like what I experienced growing where I grew up. Like, so anytime I would travel back home to visit my parents, there would be a new warehouse. So what originally was a farm field, for corn or soybeans and hay, those were the prominent crops. It is now an Amazon warehouse or a Walmart warehouse or...
Still currently happening? Or
Yes. So
Really?
it's sad to see, generations not really
like
take
third
over the
generation farm
farming.
gone, and Amazon
either
warehouse getting built.
Sell
what
it
kind of farms do they have there?
to Amazon or sell it to a developer who's building homes on top of it.
Well, what was your farm?
Yeah.
Well, corn, soybeans, hay are like the main. Jersey tomatoes are very famous if you grew up on the East Coast. So a lot of tomatoes. Campbell's soup is made in South Jersey, Camden, New Jersey. So,
really, I didn't know.
And then the further south you go, there's a lot of fruit trees, peaches, and then closer to the shore because of the sand in the soil, there's a lot of cranberry bogs, blueberry bogs.
Have you seen those? Like the cranberries in the water?
Yep.
Like, isn't that the craziest thing?
I'm not that familiar with it. Brittany has more of an affinity
South
for this.
Jersey,
wild, dude.
But,
like we would go there and like we would take school trips to the cranberry bogs and sponsored by Ocean Spray.
well, that was kind of another
Ocean
big
Spray.
difference. Yeah, drink Ocean Spray.
That's how my love for craisins was actually established. I love craisins.
I don't know if we can be friends anymore. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so my grandparents were like first generation. Like my grandfather was born in Holland, and all his family.
So you're second generation in the U.S.
Yes.
That is like fresh off the boat.
Yes, he's off. My
word.
My grandfather was off the boat. Him and his three brothers and my great grandfather, they all just moved to Jersey, bought a ton of land, and started farming it. And
so there's like a very like pioneer spirit in your family from there to it's like you almost are like still doing it in a sense because you moved here doing the same thing kind of.
Yeah. I mean, and like, well, now, but like that, unfortunately, like generations not taking over, like my father and his brother have not taken over the farm. So like, it's kind of my grandfather farmed it until he couldn't. And it's, a lot of it has been sold off or is being rented by other farmers. My great uncle put his land in farmland preservation, which means it could never ever be built on, which is very nice. And then my dad's other uncle did have his son take over. So my dad does have a cousin still farming.
So you have some like roots, pun intended, in farming that are fairly recent. I would say. Like, they're deep, but they're recent.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Wow.
But yeah, the other interesting thing that I found when I was going down to visit Brittany is just like the culture of, I mean, she mentioned field trips to see like the cranberry bogs, but also like on the weekend, what do? Like you go to the tractor pull in the summer. Like that's what people are doing.
Was that your first time experiencing it really with her?
Like a tractor pull in general. Like first time learning about it. I was like, so what are they pulling? And
my grandfather
trying to figure all this out.
What does it work?
Yeah, like that's where everybody goes on Saturday night, and you can kind of hear it actually from Brittany's house. It was wild. Which like even visiting Brittany's home, I grew up on a street similar to Suncrest in the sense that there were a lot of
suburban,
homes, suburban next to one another. And going to visit Brittany, when you're at her house, the only other home you can see is like her grandparents' house.
You're squinting, right?
Yeah, I mean, her grandparents live maybe a couple hundred yards away, and then outside of that, you could probably walk for like 10 minutes in any direction before you kind of run into another one because there's so much farmland all around.
Yeah, like Chris grew up in a very tight neighborhood. We bike over to his friend's house and
but like an hour and 5 minute drive from one another. It's
yeah,
just kind of crazy.
And I grew up where like I had some friends 30 minutes away. It wasn't as easy.
So seeing your friends was a bigger deal. It was like
it was an ordeal for my parents.
There's tractors pulling you there.
Yeah.
Is that what they are?
That's exactly how it works. I learned this.
So yeah, just very different lifestyle. Like my high school football field said, "Welcome to the farm" on it. Like
on the
we were
field?
like, we had lifted trucks in the parking lot and farm kids and FFA and.
Were you in FFA?
I was not.
Okay, I was gonna say you could have been in it. You know, without
I
realizing
could
it.
have.
I think you're in it because you lived on a farm.
Yeah.
FFA.
No.
You know.
I aspired. I knew what I was going to do. I aspired to go to school, work in fashion. Like that's what I wanted.
So that kind of shaped your vision for your career. Is like I want to do something big, something that's outside the farm,
I was like
but you
the
like
first
the farm. But
person in my family to go to college, get a master's on both sides of my family.
And that was all your own will pushing that. It's so incredible. Yeah, that's a huge effort.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'm pretty good at what I'm doing, I guess.
I was lucky. I was one of those lucky people who knew what I wanted to do and went to school for it and ended up getting hired in that field. A lot of people,
Really?
go to school for art and they end up, being a gym teacher. I don't know. Like,
So what was the main thing? What was the dream project you wanted to do? Is it still there? Is it still floating in front of you at some point? Is it there somewhere?
I feel like I'm overwhelmed by the amount of project I have, like ideas in my head.
Yeah.
So
Is there one that stood the test of time? That's like lasted from then to now. It could have changed. It could have been something at one point. Now it's morphed into something better.
Starting to hit the hard questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Or it's still to be found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I think so much has changed just being here.
Okay. Contextually, it's changed your perspective on what that is, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm still very career oriented, working for the man, working for Walmart,
Climbing the
everybody.
corporate ladder. Yeah. Everybody works for Walmart at this point.
working for
The treadmill. that moves
Walmart
up.
now, which has been really amazing. And I think
Yeah.
career-wise, that's
Walmart.
an amazing feat to
It's a
be
huge
working
feat.
for Walmart corporate. And grateful to be here and working out of my home doing that. I always thought, when I was younger, I would work for like a high fashion house like Chanel or Gucci and be in Manhattan, doing something a little more high end. Like I studied abroad in Milan and,
Wow.
was into all of
Yeah.
that and the runway stuff. And I ended up working actually for Burlington Coat Factory, which is based in Burlington, New Jersey. Not a lot of people
Yeah.
know that. It's
I
like
didn't know that.
very home. That's like, if you're in fashion, if you grew up in that area, like a lot of girls or boys, they like aspire to work for Burlington Coat Factory because it's like one of the most successful like
Really?
retailers out of
the area.
that
The
area.
flagship brand of the area.
Yeah.
Well, an observation I would make is I think you both have great taste. I've said that already. But I think that you're taking that to your work now, if that makes sense. Like that, if you argue Walmart is the largest fashion company
It is.
because it has the
Yeah.
most clothes of any
Absolutely.
retailer. So anything you're doing is influencing everyone. If you went and
Yeah.
worked at a small place, you'd influence a small percentage of people. So like if
Yeah.
you're looking at your spread, the angle of how much the spectrum of what you're hitting, I would say it's far more successful than hitting a boutique house.
Flashlight beam is widest
Yeah,
at that
it's
point.
way more valuable.
It's a great perspective, and you were just sharing the other day. Someone was mentioning how they're finding more clothes now at like Walmart than
We're
they
buying
are.
our kids' clothes at Walmart because they're better than anything else.
Exactly.
Well, what's funny is I'm not even in merchandising or fashion anymore. I'm in tech partnerships now, which is very much a career change.
It is, but it's still supporting that business.
I think
Yeah. Just higher level.
to your point, this is where my career path has brought me. Like all my experiences brought me to this point.
Yeah.
I bring a very different perspective than if Walmart hired someone in tech partnersks.
And you can bring the dry humor back in now too, right? That's why she got
Yes,
hired.
it's a little back to working with a more
She owns the
diverse crowd.
She's in charge of the humor there.
We have a Hoboken office, so I'm back collaborating with some of my Jersey peeps. Yes.
So you're having a good time. I'd say it's a way better pivot from just being singularly focused on one thing for forever. Yeah. And then Chris's career has been I don't know a lot, but I know you've been doing a lot for a long time.
Yeah, I've been with the same company actually since about 2 weeks after I graduated in 2008, which was a terrible time to start in financial services.
I don't know why.
Yeah, this odd thing happened.
2008.
That's why I stayed in school.
Yeah, so
That's smart.
I actually had a couple of offers on the table. The company that I'm with currently, it was a very difficult time to get a job. The other, ironically, it was with a company called Bear Stearns, which was in the news and headlines quite prominently at the time, and is no more. So I had kind of, the red pill and the blue pill, so to speak, and I chose the correct one, I guess, in terms of finding an organization I could stay with.
Wow.
And it's been a cool path, just building relationships within one firm, and it's been like the company's culture that's really kept me there. And it's been the last 10 years that I've been leading an area of that organization and managing really a block of investments for a lot of clients that we have within the company. And led us out here to Utah. So prior to the pandemic, it made sense to potentially have a group of advisors based out someplace in Mountain or Pacific time zones to better support our clients nationally.
Yeah.
That's all rendered entirely irrelevant post-pandemic, but it got us out to Salt Lake. So that was inherently a win for our family. Yeah, and as we've spoken through anyway.
So you kind of had to reinvent your career inside that track. I mean, it's not like you've been doing the same job. You've changed roles.
I've had several different roles at the organization. This has been the one that I've had for the longest now, which has been, coming up on, I guess it hasn't been quite 10 years yet, but it will be 10 years in about a year and a half. So
it's weird aging. It's like this time happening.
It's wild. This time warp of just like, really? It's been that long?
We're all only 25 years old still, which is strange.
Exactly. I still feel like I am in many ways. My body doesn't agree in a lot of cases.
Well, I'll just call out, you have this really great career track that you've been, and I think you probably shaped the culture in a lot of positive ways because they've kept you that long. That's not a coincidence. But you have a side culture that I want to call out, which is you have all these groups that are doing sports and stuff. I'm just amazed at how many things you're doing. I don't know how many there are.
It seems like it might be too much at many points.
You broke some ribs?
Yeah, there's just a lot of things I don't want to give up. Yeah, I'm still playing hockey, usually 2 days a week on 3 different teams. Not doing that until at least July again. Because I did crack a few ribs a few weeks back, so waiting for
Was it a fight? How did it happen?
No. Unfortunately, it wasn't any cool story. There's no glory in the details. I was just moving pretty fast, and unfortunately just got kind of my stick clipped into the boards in the wrong spot and just went right into my stick in a way that went right into my ribs. So, numbers 6, 7, and 8 after getting an MRI at Medallis Urgent Care. So it's been a painful few weeks, but that's been one activity. And then, we love to ski and snowboard. That's been one of the things that really just keeps us going. I think it's, in this area especially, it's so great.
You guys go quite a bit too. You guys go.
We usually do. I mean, this winter obviously was a bust for pretty much anyone that's interested in the sport, unless you are really able to find some secret snow stashes over the course of weekdays.
Sandboarding had a big rise this
Seriously, I mean, it was the only way to get out there. It was like more longboarding days than snowboarding days for sure. So it's I definitely enjoyed doing a lot of the things that Utah offers. So we have beautiful golf courses here. Love to go shooting, which is not something you can really do very easily in New Jersey.
I mean, you could, but you get in trouble.
You get in a lot of trouble very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, we would shoot on the farm.
Yeah, we would shoot on the farm. So you could shoot on the farm. That was pretty cool. When I met Brittany, like knowing that we could go down there and bring some rifles and do some target shooting and stuff right in her backyard and not really have to worry about it. But up where I was a dramatically different environment for those types of things.
Yeah. Suburbia, you wouldn't shoot guns in a.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not the best of ideas.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I just love. I feel like people they're meeting you for the first time if they're watching this. There's people who know you who are watching this, and they're probably like, "That's Chris and Brittany. Look at them." Like, what would you say to your friends back east after being here for so long now? What would you tell them? Would you convince them to move here? Would you tell them to stay there so we don't ruin the state?
We would love for our friends to come visit more often. We had a lot of visitors when we first moved.
Or move. Moving is also an option, but visiting is a great half step. Yeah.
Suncrest.
We decided to get married here so that we could have force all of our guests.
Really corner our friends and family into coming to Utah and
really experience it. Just
inflict it on them.
So
exactly. Yes.
We did that.
Yeah.
And the feedback was phenomenal, by the way. It was a really difficult time to travel, September of 21. So, like, still vestiges of the pandemic loomed, mask policies, discomfort with, like, the airlines. That's when we got married. It was originally supposed to be May of 20. Then we pushed it to September of 2020.
I remember it happening, but I was like, I didn't know.
Yeah, I just kept kind of getting rolled forward. Like, all right, well, September of 2020, things have to have cooled off by, like, September of 21, right? So we punted it out a year. And even still, unfortunately, a lot of people just couldn't make it with kind of what was going on in the environment still.
Yeah.
But those that did come were like, this place is absolutely amazing.
Then you had them over and you're just like, just look, any direction you look, it's
well,
great.
Yeah. So we had a little brunch here the day after we got married, just so people could see how beautiful Suncrest was and how excited we were to be here. But
and we actually did have
really great.
Friends move out here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was really awesome. But they had grown up coming here because our friend's mother lived here for a long time.
Okay.
So he was very familiar with like skiing in Park City his whole life. So then when we moved here, he would come to visit us while he was visiting his mom as well. And then during COVID, they decided to make the move. So it was nice to have some East Coast friends join us out here. Yeah.
And they've kind of adopted the state in a similar fashion.
Yeah.
Oh, entirely. Yeah.
Yep. They love it.
It's like you guys are perfectly suited to live in Utah.
Yeah, it's worked out really well. We feel like we are part of Utah now, and we've had some opportunities to discuss potentially relocating, and it wasn't even a lengthy discussion in any way, shape, or form. Like
we have no interest.
We'll always
in
see ourselves having a place being in Utah in some regard as we continue with our lives.
And I'll say, like, I feel like where we're at right now, we're neighbors, obviously, but it must be similar for other neighbors in the neighborhood. Just you feel like a little group of people that are all working together, especially in the winter. You get this camaraderie. Like I'll see you walk out, you're just like in shorts. I got this.
Yeah. Got to get that out there early too. Yeah, it's the winters are brutal. I mean, the last couple have been manageable.
Oh, easy. The funniest thing is you'll be in summertime and I'll still be in a glacial.
I was gonna say, yeah. And that was a total happy accident. We did not have the foresight to consider that when purchasing a home up here.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm an idiot.
Well, this happened.
Don't think about.
This would happen at our house in New Jersey actually, and I had a driveway that was probably like a 30-degree plane.
There's a lot of ice there, right? Yeah.
And we were on the one side that of the street that you were, and essentially like the back deck was always kind of clear, but the front was always just totally iced over, and it would always be like that heavy wet ice snow, not nice fluffy.
A little bit of a steep driveway.
Oh, it was very steep. Yeah, like couldn't get cars
was
up
it 2 weeks ago we got snow?
Yeah.
I walked out.
I was out of town, but she sent me pictures. Yeah.
I was wearing Crocs as I do, and I slipped and slid down the whole driveway.
Oh, brutal.
Am I at the age where I fall down my driveway?
Yeah, what a start to the day.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well, dude, it's been really fun chatting. I love it. I don't know how long I've been going for, but it seems like we've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want to take too much of your time, but I love chatting with you guys.
This has been phenomenal.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
And we'll have to get some guests on here.
Most definitely.
Just on this porch, because it's such a great place.
Yes, anytime. Anytime you want to film out here, we're down to be out here.
Lots of guests.
We want to take advantage of this.
Yeah, it was Chris and Brittany, the best people.
Oh, thanks.
And thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Woo!